You open your phone. You scroll past a stranger's photo. For half a second, your heart rate changes. You don't know this person. You will never meet them. But somewhere in your chest, a small alarm just went off. Your brain thinks you are being watched. That feeling is not random. It is not a glitch. It is something far older than phones, far older than mirrors, far older than language itself. To understand it, you have to go back. Not centuries. Hundreds of thousands of years. Your ancestors lived in small groups, 20 people, maybe 50. Every face they saw belonged to someone who could help them or hurt them. There were no strangers passing through unnoticed. If a new face appeared at the edge of camp, it mattered. It could mean food. It could mean danger. It could mean death. So the brain adapted. It built a system, fast and automatic, for tracking who was looking at you, who might be judging you, who might be talking about you behind your back. Researchers call this social monitoring. It runs constantly, quietly, beneath your conscious thought. You don't choose to run it. It simply runs. Here is the strange part. That system cannot tell the difference between a real threat and a digital one. Psychologist Robin Dunbar spent decades studying primate brains and human social groups. He found something remarkable. The size of a primate's brain, particularly the neocortex, correlates directly with the size of the social group it can track. Bigger brains, bigger circles of relationships. Humans, with our oversized neocortex, evolved to track roughly 150 meaningful relationships at once. This became known as Dunbar's number. 150. That's it. That is the ceiling your ancestors were built for. Now think about your phone. Think about how many faces scroll past your thumb in a single afternoon. Hundreds, sometimes thousands. Your brain was never built to process that volume of social information, but it tries anyway. It treats every face, every comment, every stranger's opinion as if it belongs inside that ancient circle of 150, as if this person could affect your survival. This is why a stranger's harsh comment on a post can ruin your entire afternoon. Your nervous system doesn't know they are a stranger. It only knows a member of your social world has expressed disapproval. And disapproval for most of human history was not a minor inconvenience. It was a 5-alarm fire. Anthropologist Sarah Blaffer Hrdy has written extensively about what she calls cooperative breeding in early humans. Unlike most primates, human infants required help from multiple caregivers to survive. Mothers alone could not provide enough calories or protection. Survival depended on a wide network of trust: aunts, grandmothers, friends, allies. If that network turned against you, your children might not make it. Social rejection wasn't an emotional bruise. It was a direct threat to your genetic future. This is why your brain treats social disapproval with the same urgency it once reserved for a predator in the grass. The wiring never updated. It just got a new environment to run in. Consider what happens biologically when you check your phone and see a notification. A small dopamine signal fires before you even open the app. Your body doesn't know if the message is good or bad. It only knows something social is waiting. And waiting to an ancient brain feels unbearable. Uncertainty about your social standing was once one of the most dangerous states a human could be in. Are they still my ally? Did I offend someone? Am I still safe in this group? You feel an echo of that exact anxiety every time your phone buzzes and you don't yet know why. Neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman, who studies what he calls the social brain, found that the regions activated during physical pain overlap significantly with the regions activated during social rejection. In his research, being excluded from a simple ball-tossing game activated the same neural pathways as a physical injury. Your brain does not file social pain and physical pain into separate folders. To your nervous system, being ignored online can register as a wound. This explains something almost everyone has felt, but rarely names: the strange exhaustion after a day of social media. The unease that comes from being seen by people you've never met. The relief of putting the phone down and feeling for a moment unwatched. You're not weak for feeling this. You're simply using ancient hardware in an environment it was never designed for. There is a deeper layer to this. For your ancestors, being looked at often meant being evaluated. A predator's gaze could mean a chase. A rival's gaze could mean a coming conflict. A group member's gaze could mean judgment, exclusion, or alliance. Gaze detection became one of the fastest, most primitive responses your brain developed. Even infants only a few hours old will turn toward a pair of eyes faster than almost any other visual stimulus. This is not learned, it is built in. Now scroll through your feed again. Every photo, every video contains eyes, hundreds of pairs of eyes, staring back at you from a screen, frozen mid-glance. Your ancient gaze detector cannot tell that these eyes are not truly looking at you. It fires anyway, over and over. Each photo becomes a tiny, repeated trigger for the same circuitry that once helped you survive an open savanna. This is part of why online spaces can feel so strangely intimate and so strangely threatening at the same time. You are being watched by no one and everyone, simultaneously, hundreds of times a day. Psychologist Jonathan Haidt has pointed to a related effect in his research on social comparison. Humans evolved to compare themselves to the people physically around them. A small local sample size of competitors and allies. Your phone replaced that small sample with the entire planet. Now you are not just comparing your life to your neighbor. You are comparing it to a curated highlight reel pulled from millions of strangers, each one performing their best possible self. Your ancestors never had to compete with a planet. You do, every time you open an app. So what do you do with a brain built for a tribe of 150, dropped into a digital world of billions? The first step is recognizing the feeling for what it is, that tightening in your chest when you post something and wait for a response. That isn't vanity. That is hundreds of thousands of years of survival instinct, misfiring in a context it was never designed for. Naming it doesn't make it disappear, but it does loosen its grip. You begin to see the alarm for what it actually is, not danger, just an old reflex meeting a new world. Some researchers suggest a surprisingly simple correction. Treat your digital circle the way your ancestors treated their physical one. Invest deeply in a small number of real relationships rather than spreading attention thin across hundreds of weak ones. Dunbar's own research suggests that strong, resilient social bonds, the kind that actually buffer stress and loneliness, max out at around 5 close relationships and 15 good friends. Everyone beyond that is, biologically speaking, closer to background noise than tribe. Your nervous system was never meant to hold the opinions of strangers as equal in weight to the people who actually know you. There is something almost comforting in this. The unease you feel scrolling through a feed of unfamiliar faces is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is proof that your body still remembers what it was built for. A small fire, a close circle, a handful of people whose eyes actually meant something. You open your phone again. You scroll past a stranger's photo. Your heart rate shifts, just slightly. But this time you notice it. You recognize the ancient alarm for what it is, not a verdict on your worth, just an old hunter, still standing guard, still watching the tree line for a threat that, this time, was never really there.